Happy Aloha Friday, everyone. Whoop, whoop. Made it through another week. Pau Hana in the house.
I'm a little delayed. No, happy Aloha Friday. I am so excited. It has been a really great week. Let's send some positivity today. I have a funny story, but how was your Easter?
My Easter was great. I got to watch my nieces do their scavenger hunt, which involved, I guess they had to think a little bit more before they went after all the plastic eggs with money in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my brother and my mom, I was like, make sure you map out where these are, because if we lose money out here in this field or whatever, we're going to have problems. And so it was good. We had brisket and, a family dinner, and everything was well. And then we watched Godzilla versus King Kong, or the new movie that came out.
Mm-hmm.
On HBO Max, and so we did that as well, and it was just a good time. I worked on Saturday, so prior to Easter, so I really didn't get to do a lot for my nieces. But my mom was all anxious about getting them an Easter basket, and then she just decided to give them $20. She was like, "All the junk in the Easter basket or money?" And my niece was like, "Money."
Yeah,
because Athena is all about not spending her own money. She's very much like, who's paying for this? I'm not spending my money. And I was like, man, this girl's Chinese.
Where did she has a piggy bank, or she has a savings account?
She actually has her own bank account already, and at 6 years old. So very frugal.
I know that they have little credit cards for children so that they can learn how to use credit cards at a young age.
I wish I had that when I was younger.
No,
Yeah,
it's probably
lesson.
Only been around for the past 15 years, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she's gonna be one of those that grows up with, just how to use a credit card all the time. She might actually, her generation might stop using paper money. That would be interesting.
Mai, let's just say it. Money in the bank. That's what we're trying to say.
That's where
she's going to have money in the bank. That's fine.
That's fine. It just needs to be somewhere.
I already told her she's going to take care of me when I get old and gray. She's like, that's fine. That's fine. You can be my assistant. That's fine. I was like, okay, great. Thanks. Take care of me when I get old.
Very thoughtful. My mom was also thinking barbecue for Easter Sunday. Pineapple sausages.
So did you guys have it?
On the grill.
Oh, did you go? So you guys had that for Easter?
Yes, and tenderloin. I can't remember what else. And my kids didn't want to color eggs. Even though I suggested it. Now. They're way too old. But I said, just for the spirit of the holiday, what else are we going to do? I even asked if we could make deviled eggs, because I love deviled eggs. And
deviled eggs is amazing.
Yes. But they didn't even want to boil the eggs. I'm like, oh, forget it. Just let's move on. Just have to give them money. Even though they're older, they still get gifts. Still give them money.
They still get gifts even though they're a lot older? Come on now.
No, my mom gave me gifts till still recently, actually. A few years ago.
Till the end of days.
Yes. Every once in a while. Actually, my mom, she's just always really thoughtful, and she likes to give me things, which I nice. Just love that relationship with my mom. And I always get her things too, so. I'm sure it's like you and your mom too.
Yeah, maybe not as much as before, but we do things here and there. Well, I did pay for her haircut and color.
Well, didn't you guys go out to brunch? And you guys...
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Do nice things.
Bought her lunch. We actually went to Walmart for the very first time in maybe, this could be 6 to 9 months for me. I don't know about my mother, but we went there and I bought all the stuff that she wanted. So it's a give and take. I don't know. We don't normally do gifts. Oh, I did buy her a nice T-shirt.
See, that's what it is
recently.
Now. That's what it is now. It's
occasional. You add on.
I buy you things. You buy me things. Yeah, my mom. We'll go out shopping, and I'll buy her something, or sometimes she'll buy me something, and it's a constant back and forth kind of thing. I actually kind of like this relationship, and I'm hoping that I have a similar relationship with my own children as they, earn their own money and are frugal and successful adults. I don't know how they're going to be, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
In fact, we're celebrating my son's birthday tomorrow.
Okay,
on
great.
the 10th. And I don't know what we're doing. I think he's figured it out. He's made plans. They sound expensive. He wants Italian food from a restaurant that he loves. So
which one?
Assaggio's.
Oh, okay.
Assaggio's.
Yeah. Their food's good. Is Bocce's still open?
I have not been venturing out to restaurants since lockdown last year.
I guess you could look on like DoorDash or Grubhub and see if it's still open. But I remember Bocce. I love their gnocchi.
Yeah. Gnocchi was good.
Truffle gnocchi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually the first time I had it. It was when you dragged me out there. You're like, we're going to go have gnocchi. And when we went.
You were sick though, right?
Yes. That was a horrible, horrible day. And I did not want to go out in public because I had a reaction to sunscreen and on my face. And my face just ballooned out. Red, splotchy, and
it was fine, Mai. Nobody was looking. That restaurant is dark.
My
anyway.
face was like a puffer fish, and you're like, you know what you need? You need Benadryl, and you said we're gonna go get Benadryl. Oh, and we're gonna go get gnocchi. And I was so mad at you. It's like
you were mad, but you were there. You participated still.
I went
I don't understand
because I was getting Benadryl for my face, but then. Yes, I could still eat things. It was fine.
Yeah.
But I looked like a puffer fish. It was very sad. Thank goodness it was dark.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. It's a dark restaurant. Nobody really cared.
Mm-hmm.
I think we enjoyed our food. We came home, we relaxed on the couch, and we were just fine. Everything was good.
Yes. But that was terrible.
It's okay. I feel like a lot of people have had allergic reactions in front of me. And I think it's really funny. I had a friend. We went to a seafood restaurant here in Houston, and she wanted the gumbo so bad. And I said, okay, get the gumbo. And then she started doing this little like thing with her throat. And she was like, and I'm like,
oh no.
Are you okay? And then all of a sudden, like her face is very tiny, like very, very like, slim. And then I start seeing like these apple cheeks, and I'm like, what's happening here? Then progressively their eyes got smaller, and I was like, are you having anaphylaxis? And she's like, I don't know. I feel itchy. And I was like, we got to get you some Benadryl like now. So I asked the restaurant, okay, seafood restaurant. You're thinking, all right, they probably will have like, over the counter Benadryl, something, in the first aid kit. No, they don't carry anything. And I was like, you do realize like people can have anaphylaxis and they don't know that they're actually allergic, and then they eat something, brand new, and they have it. And Benadryl, I mean, is in almost every single first aid kit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a liability to give somebody Benadryl if their face is starting to swell. So we had to leave in a hurry and go to the nearest drugstore and inject her with some Benadryl. I made her drink it out of the bottle, just like in that movie Hitch, like straight out the bottle. I was like, you're gonna chug a little bit of this, and she found out she's allergic to roux in gumbo, which is like a very common Cajun spice. And I was like,
we're never eating gumbo. Oh, that's so sad.
We're never eating gumbo again. Well, I mean,
she's
never eating gumbo again. No, that was terrible. But just seeing the like slow progression, it wasn't like a full on anaphylaxis because obviously she would have to go to the hospital. Mm-hmm. But just seeing the slow progression of like clearing the throat, then the cheeks got bigger, and then the eyes got smaller. And I was like, I think you're swelling up. Like this is not a good thing. And that kind of leads me to also talking about people have asked me before, like, have you ever really gotten sick at a restaurant? And I said, no, I've gotten sick on a cruise. One time out of like the 20 cruises I've been on, I got sick one time. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning of the cruise, my uniform, because I wear those on formal nights, was a little tight. But by the end of the cruise, I had lost 14 pounds because I was so sick. Uh-huh. And nothing I would eat would stick. And that uniform looked great. Looked great. I was so skinny by the time I got back. Everybody was like, "Are you okay?"
Was it seasickness or food illness?
Food poisoning for sure.
Okay,
for sure. A lot of people are scared of cruises. I've been on many, and I've never gotten sick. But don't order room service. Like room service is free. You can tip them, whatever. But it's free. Like all the food is free, right?
Yeah.
So I'll never order room service again because that's where I made the mistake.
I heard this tip because, and I've not done a cruise, but, my dog is crying in the background. I'm so sorry. Wait,
do you want to pause it and like let her out?
Yeah, just let me let her out. Okay. So there about this tip for cruises that somebody shared with me was that since food service is free, room service is free, that they would order takeout, like picnic. They would order sandwiches, and then they would pack them up, and then they would go on their day excursions. So that
That is so cheap.
They wouldn't.
The best part of a cruise is the excursion and then going to eat at other restaurants that are available.
I know, but then they were, it was I think they paid so much money for something.
No.
But anyway, if you're trying to be frugal, pay money for that is a frugal tip.
That's so dumb. No.
I know. I
don't
agree.
Do that.
I agree. You should taste where you're going to go visit. You spent all that money to get there. Taste it. Just like people coming to Hawaii.
Yeah, my mom and I were talking about in Cozumel at Chakanab Park. Mm-hmm. You can sit out there. They charge you like a one-time fee to get in the park, but you can sit out there and they have like umbrellas and chairs, and they'll have servers bring you like chips and guac and salsa and all the things. But some of the best stuff they have is like a full charbroiled fish that came out of the water. Usually it's like a small redfish or whatever. Mm-hmm. They usually grill it. Then they put like garlic, lemon, and butter on top. It is delicious. And then when we go to Jamaica, we always go to, I think it's Aquasol or some kind of beach. And when we're out there, the guy will bring these huge styrofoam plates of jerk chicken, like piled high on top of his head. Mm-hmm. And he'll carry them and he'll just like hand them out, $10 a plate, whatever. That's the best. That's the best kind of food is to, just eat it out there. And I mean, you take a little risk. I think another friend of mine had giardia when she went somewhere. Oh, she was in Tanzania. Uh-huh. And like super sick from sketchy seafood that wasn't fully cooked. So y'all got to be safe out there. Just, choose wisely wherever you get your food. But I love these places. I always end up going to the same places, getting the same beach food brought to me. The people actually know us there, so it's kind of funny at the same time. You've traveled too much on cruises when the locals know you. Every 6 months, they're like, oh, hey. But because of COVID, all the cruises have been shut down, so it's pretty sad. But as soon as they come back up, I'm out of here on a cruise.
Have you done river cruises? I actually just watched something about it. It looks so pretty.
Did a river cruise in China. I would say it's not as fun.
Okay.
I love cruising. I don't know why people don't like it. But to each their own. But I mean, when you go on a cruise, you don't have to do anything.
You know what?
You don't have to spend extra money. You can just lay there.
I get seasick on large vessels, so I would have to be the one that takes those kind of medications or something.
I've seen you get seasick on a small vessel as well.
Yeah, but that was going slow. I cannot do slow. If we're speeding along, it's fine. But once we start going slow and we're lulling with the ocean, bleh.
Well, I don't know if a cruises never really go slow, but if you're in my mom and I have gone through a couple really bad storms on cruises, and usually at night it's very rocky, so it's always good to be in the middle of the boat. But my mom loves the front of the boat, so we're always end up,
at the front of the boat flying. Is where it goes the jumpiest.
It's high, yeah. So one night I think they were like, oh, you can't go out on the deck because we're gonna go through a thunderstorm, whatever. 20, 30-foot waves. My mom and I laid in the bed, and it was hilarious because we would go up and come back down, and I would be weightless for a little while. And I was like, Mom, I feel weird. And she's like, I know, I'm having an out of body experience because you can't control it, right? But the best thing to do is to lay down and go to bed. But mostly on the cruise, when you're walking, you'll try to walk straight down the aisle, and you start to walk from side to side. Uh-huh. So I don't know if it would be so bad for you.
I don't know. I've grown up on sailboats. My dad loved sailing. And so he would say sometimes go down below deck. And then I'd be okay for a few seconds, maybe a minute or two. And then I'd be like, nope. And I come back up and I would still heave over the side. I'm not good going slow. Sailboats, no matter how fast the wind is, strong the wind is, we never went fast enough for me to not be sick. I even went on the Navitec, which is like a double hull giant catamaran that's out in Waikiki, and they say, "Oh, people don't get sick on this one," and I still was miserable the entire time.
Man, I don't know if I would want to take you on a cruise. I think you would have to do like a 3-day.
I don't think
you'd
I
have to
can
do a
it.
3-day test to see if you were like
3
okay.
days is a long time to be stuck on a ship.
Well, I mean, you go to a port. By day 2, you're at a port, and then you come back. Like, it's not. I think you're gonna have to try. You're gonna have to do some baby steps because I would never put you on a 14-day cruise. We'd be in trouble.
Oh, no way, I couldn't handle it. There's ones that go
do
around
Mediterranean.
the neighbor islands. I know, and I would love to do that. Actually, I keep thinking that I'd like to do the Alaska cruise on the smaller boats where you go, up there by the.
I don't think you would do well on a smaller boat. I really think you'd do well on a big, huge cruise
ocean
ship
liner. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Because, I mean, you could get in the pool and, like, float around. And then just
you're making
go
me
with
sick.
it.
Stop moving. I can see you moving. It's not good.
That's so mean. No, I think you'd be fine. I think it would be fine. Like, we would have to. We're going to have to give it a try one day because you're going to want to try to go on these, like, cruises or whatnot. So you're going to have to give it a try.
That's why I was thinking of the river cruises, like the ones that go in Europe somewhere, because it looks like the rivers are completely flat, and so there's just like no movement.
And then there will be that one like massive storm, and then you end up like rocking all over the place. Don't make me move on this video again.
Okay, let me start this over. So I have a funny story. So just in case anybody else wants to look it up, the album is Bronson, artists Odessa and Golden Features. The song is called Keep Moving, and it's EDM, electronic dance music. And about a minute and 5 seconds in, there's this part that goes blackout, and then there's a pause.
Right.
Okay, now at the exact same moment, that's just the behind the scenes. At that, so we were talking on the phone. This was a few days ago. We were talking on the phone. We had this video call, and I also had on. I'm downstairs in my house, and I live in an Apple ecosphere. I have an Apple TV. I have an iPhone. I have Apple computers in my house. And where I am sitting downstairs in my living room, dining room area, I have my TV on, and I have meditation music with binaural beats, really light in the background. I often have that in my background. And so you and I are talking, and I didn't want to, I guess I just wanted to have my AirPods in so I didn't have to hold the phone so much. I just put you down and not have to worry about because my hand, I hold it underneath where the mic is, and I would keep blocking my sound. So I grabbed my AirPods and I put it in, and all of a sudden I'm hearing that song in my ear. And I'm like, where in the world is this coming from? It's not the meditation music, and it wasn't you on the call. And it took me maybe about 30 seconds as I was trying to like disconnect and try to connect my AirPods to my phone. And so I did that, and then I finally heard you, and it was fine. But the next day, I randomly asked my daughter, I'm like, were you listening to some weird music the other day and then it cut out? And she goes, I was listening to this music, and then it was so weird because there was a part where it pauses and it goes blackout, and then there's the pause. Well, exactly at that moment when it hit the pause is when I connected my AirPods to it. And so she was like, this pause is unusually long, longer than what it normally is.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
So she's finally
like, what happened?
She's finally like, she was sitting there by her computer with the music in the background, and she's realized that it hadn't been, the pause was way longer than it is in the song. I think it only pauses for literally a second and a half. And she's trying to like check her audio sources, but within 30 seconds I had disconnected to it. and it came back on. And so she was like, oh, but she thought that she had fixed it, whatever it was. And I just thought it was so funny that the literal moment where I connected to it and took it away from her computer speakers was the moment it said blackout and the pause.
That's hilarious. How funny is that? Like the exact moment. Well, one, I gotta say, your daughter has a really interesting choice of music. When you made me listen to it, I was like, what am I listening to? It's so weird, but now it all makes sense. However, I probably wouldn't choose that song to listen to.
But if you saw my face as I'm like, what?
Yeah, I saw your face.
This?
You were like, what is happening? What
is this song? And it's just like,
what is this terrible music?
Loud. It was loud in my ear, and it was EDM, and it was like a club was blasting in my ear.
Club in your ear.
Yeah.
Huh?
I was like, I don't know what's happening.
That's hilarious.
I honestly thought I connected to some of the neighbors' devices.
Wouldn't that be like a terrible thing? Is like you put your earbuds in, you're thinking you're going to listen to what you're listening to, and then you end up picking somebody else's stuff up, and then it ends up being like something really awkward.
I certainly hope not. But
I think on TikTok there was a TikTok, like a woman had picked up her AirPods and it connected to her husband's phone, and he was like cheating on her.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I feel like this is like something that is becoming more common because AirPods look the same, right?
They do.
Or you have them connected.
They do.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Crazy.
That is crazy. But it would only connect to your own Apple sphere. It's not going to connect to your neighbors. But I remember a long time ago, my children were babies and we had the baby monitors, that the cordless phones that everybody used to have, I would hear other people's conversations picked up on the baby monitors.
Ooh.
It would be the neighbors.
That's weird.
It would be the neighbors. I could hear their conversations. So you'd have to I don't know how, you just had to wait till they stopped talking so that you could hear. There was no reset. I think some of them had different channels that you could choose, but crazy stuff.
Yeah. I think that's really odd.
But it was funny because you're the only other person who was a part of that moment. So I had to tell you.
I was there for it. I was there for it. I just think it's really funny. Like, I mean, you are surrounded by Apple products, so everything in some way can connect. Yeah. I just saw a video of somebody, like, you know how you can airdrop to people?
Yeah.
So somebody was on a plane and they were like airdropping pictures, like funny memes to people on the plane because they have theirs open to everyone being able to drop it.
Yeah.
And like they were just sending stupid memes, and like of course people would reject them, right? Yeah. Like I would probably reject a picture, but some people accepted them. And they were just like laughing. Like she was like recording like the reaction. They're just laughing in the middle of the plane, you know? Just because like that would be fun. But I mean, of course, keep it appropriate, right? Like don't start sending weird, obnoxious things, but like keep it appropriate. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of funny. I would take that as a joke if somebody sent me a stupid meme, like I don't know. Somebody was like Happy Manatee Appreciation Day. And they sent me a meme of like a potato. And it was like Happy Manatee because they're floating potatoes, right? I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and they were like, "What is the purpose of a manatee?" And I was like, "I think they have no natural predators, right? And they don't have prey. So the only real threat to them are humans." And I was like, I think it's like God's or the universe's, whatever you believe. It's like a butt end of a joke. Like, I'm going to create this massive floating potato that has no significant purpose but to be very cute.
It is so cute. And then they eat the things that, like the greenery that could be big and
overgrow. Yeah, could overgrow. Well, I sent you that thing today, like a group of sloths is called a snuggle,
which is cute.
I was like, okay, whoever got paid the big bucks to call them a snuggle, like, it's on. And like a group of crows is called a murder.
And crows are mean. They are
but
mean.
Why murder?
You know, they're related
there's
to...
There's a murder of crows.
They are related
vultures,
to
right?
our, what are our Mynah birds in Hawaii? I think that they're kind of similar.
Mynah birds.
So Mynah birds are tiny, but they're all black, but they have these yellow beaks. They're very loud.
Yeah, they're pretty vicious too. Huh?
But I remember my son came home and told me the story about how these two Mynah birds were holding a third Mynah bird, stepping on its wings. And he watched the whole thing because he's walking slowly home from school. And they waited for a car to come. And then when the car came, and then they flew off. So that the other bird was on its back and it couldn't like recover in time to not get run over.
Stop it. Nuh-uh.
Yes. He totally watched it. He was like,
that's like so
they
like mafia.
Totally murdered a fellow bird. And
that's why they're called a murder.
I know, but somebody else told me a similar story. And I was like, what? These Mynah birds are way scary.
Dude, that's like some mob shit.
I know. So
like,
Mynah
hey,
birds.
Sonny, we're going to put you death by wheel.
Yeah. So, but
bitches.
I did not know. So I'd be interested to know if anybody's seen other bird species do that. But that's
so weird.
He watched it. He watched it in real time as he's walking sloth-like home. And
I don't even know, like a snuggle. Another one that I thought was really funny that I found out was that a group of platypus, so there's no like plural of that, is called a paddle.
Oh.
Paddle of platypus. Isn't that funny?
You were just looking up a whole lot of animal facts today.
I think animal facts just made me a lot happier because I was just like, I want to know what a group of this is called. But there's some funny ones out there. There's some funny ones. Like
I think scientists might have a sense of humor. Right?
Don't they? Animals.
Animal scientists. They like to name things
I'm going to look
funny.
up some real quick. Okay, a group of camels is called a caravan. That's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A group of apes is called a shrewdness.
A shrewdness.
A shrewdness. Oh, dear. Okay, so how interesting. A group of bears is called a sloth or sleuth. Isn't that weird? A sleuth of bears.
A sleuth of bears. They're not snuggly at all.
They're not snuggly. How about, let me find a good one here. That, a group of hippopotami are called a bloat.
Oh, that sounds rude.
A bloat.
A bloat.
I like the group of kangaroos is called a mob.
A mob. You know, I've heard so many stories about kangaroos being mean.
Oh, they can kick really hard. Remember they box.
What are the miniature ones? We have them
wallabies.
Here. Wallabies. We actually have wallabies in Hawaii.
It's so weird that you have.
They're not supposed to be here. They're not indigenous, but apparently they're in the mountains and many people have seen them.
Are you ready for another good one?
Okay.
A group of sharks is called a shiver.
I would shiver.
And a group of stingrays is called a fever.
A fever.
You guys are all fired.
I've seen a fever of stingrays.
A fever of stingrays.
I think that they're like birds because when they all flew, they they swam. They look like birds, all grouped together. Just
got one for you.
Okay.
A group of porcupines is called a prickle.
A prickle. That's adorable.
Or how about a group of rhinoceroses is called a crash? Boom, boom.
I'm sure it happens. Maybe that's why. They're like, oh, look.
How about
two cars?
How about tigers?
I can't even guess.
A group of tigers is called an ambush.
An ambush.
Somebody must have died by a group of tiger to name them an ambush.
Or they watched them take down something. Because they're so smart and they work together when they go out hunting.
All right, whoever did this one is fired. A group of ferrets is called a business.
That's not so
Sneaky,
creative.
Sly. Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's so, oh my gosh. A group of eagles is called a convocation. Like, why does that sound like a religious gathering for some reason? I don't know. That's funny. Okay, there were a few good ones in there, I would say. There's There's more, but I think that's probably that little section.
That was good.
Groups of animals.
Thank you for the fun facts today. We all learned something.
Well, hey, you know what? Facts are always great.
Facts
it makes you feel smarter.
Yep.
You can throw them out at a dinner party and totally be the life of the party. Be like, do you know what this is? A prickle of porcupines. Like, so funny. I have a special treat for our Patreon listeners. I created a PowerPoint slideshow for a special someone to teach them about the history of cowboy boots and their fashion sort of evolution. And so our Patreon listeners will be able to have a little view of that and learn, because who knew that cowboy boots were so diversified and there were so many options.
So many options.
So many options.
Yes. I'm sure it's how far did your boots history go back?
The 1600s.
Okay.
Actually, no, earlier than that, the 11th century.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's good. It's also good for dinner parties for you to be very well versed in cowboy boots. I even dressed the part when I was giving the presentation, so I felt like the effort was 110%.
I'm excited. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm excited.
Oh yeah, you should totally see it.
Are you going to do a follow up? Because I know there was a request about cowboy hats.
There was a request, and so yes, that will probably happen. Yep, cowboy hats will happen. I think that hats are just a really fun thing, and I might just expound on it and do like the history of like the fedora and like do other sort of shapes. I sent you that one picture and showed you a bunch of shapes and all kinds of things, and you were like, I like this one. Yeah.
Super educational. You are going to have an amazing weekend. Another little mini vacay.
Yeah, just having a little bit of a me time. I got to soak up some sun, It's hard working, and then you don't get some outside time. So, not living in Hawaii is like really rough because I really miss being outside and outdoors. So, very fun, very good. Yes.
You said you were going to go paddleboarding, which is why I wanted to bring it up, because I have been watching a whole bunch of paddleboarders near sharks. I don't know why I went down this rabbit hole of YouTube videos, but then now I have, since we keep bringing them up, because they are here in our waters surrounding our islands. But, and I know that I keep saying that sharks, they are usually bored by humans. They're really not interested in humans. So I just wanted to make sure. So I saw a whole bunch of videos just making sure that they're cool around the paddleboarders. And sure enough, most of them are. Sometimes they get curious and they get a little brave and they come close. And I learned in jiu-jitsu way long ago that when you're out there with a predator like a shark is to always keep eye contact with it. Never turn your back on it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would imagine not turning my back on a shark that's following me and wanting to eat me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can use your paddle as a weapon. That really would deter them most of the time. See, surfers usually get attacked because they don't have like something to hit the water with. But if you were to hit the water or hit the shark with your paddle, it would scare them.
I hope
because
so.
They don't normally have prey. They don't normally have prey that fight back. Now, when they try to attack like baby dolphins and stuff, and the adults like hit them in the gills with their nose, like that really shocks them. Actually, the best place to hit a shark is on the top of the nose, the gills, or the eyes. But they close their eyes. They actually put a film over their eye when they attack, so that way it's not vulnerable. So it's very hard.
Now, I remember a paddler friend told us that, and it was kind of one of her jobs. She told me that she had this job where she was going out to the outer islands. The atolls and stuff that are out there, they're all federally protected. And she was going out with a photographer who wanted to go take pictures underwater. So her job was to keep the photographer from being eaten by sharks or bitten.
That's weird.
So she said, and I said, what do you do? And she says she just pushes her hand against their face to guide them away. You just got to shove them in another direction. You have to be calm.
Well, I guess that makes sense. But if one is like charging you, like, so tiger sharks, bull sharks, and great whites are known to charge.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to react pretty quickly to that push, and you got to be strong enough to push them away.
Yeah, I know. And she
seems weird.
She survived it. She says she's done it
Well, I'm
before.
sure she's wearing metal, like chainmail. I'm sure she's wearing like some kind of chainmail glove or whatever. Yeah, because I mean, you get bit, right?
But she literally told me.
And then you start to bleed, and they all start coming.
Yeah, you just guide them in another direction.
I don't believe in this. I don't know why, but I'm a little skeptical about guiding them away.
I actually watched, I think it was National Geographic. Some what's his name? The British chef, Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay.
He
yes.
was like in New Zealand, I think it was, and he was going diving, and he asked about sharks, and the woman he was with, who was from New Zealand, I think it was, she said, yeah, all you do is you just give them a nudge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, I don't feel like it would always be that easy, right? So use caution. We're just, trying to tell a story, but if you're out there swimming with the sharks, just be careful.
Yeah. It's
hopefully your nudge or budge or whatever works well.
Yeah. But
for you.
Yeah. Try to avoid them. But they are beautiful. They have a purpose in our ecosystem, and
yep.
Just be confident, I guess, and be wary, but don't lose eye contact with them, and hopefully that helps you. But I remember somebody else told me that even if you had like a knife or something and you can't pierce their skin. They're just so hard.
Probably not as well, but I think maybe.
But I also heard that punching them on the nose, like they say there's all these nerves, doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how those people have gotten away before, like by punching them. So
I think it was a punch and a nudge is probably what they did.
Punch and a nudge.
Yeah.
Yep.
They thought they were punching, but they did the nudge thing. And they just pointed them in a different direction. Especially if it's during the day. Because they're usually known to be active at night. And during the day, and every video that I saw, I mean, they do seem kind of just chilling. But they don't sleep, right? Sharks are always moving. So I guess if you're around sleepy sharks, then you can just kind of nudge them. So that does make sense.
Yeah. Well, we can always give it a try one day, Mai.
I never want to give it a try.
And see what happens. Let's give it a try.
I never want to give it a try.
There's places where you can like free swim with nurse sharks. No. You just nudge them away from me.
No,
I'll be like, you nudge.
I've seen sharks and swam with them close enough. I'm good.
Yeah, I did the cage diving, and I was like, I'm good. Like, they're just creepy. Like, they have big teeth. Well, but I've open swam with barracudas before, and they're creepy too. Like, they just have the big teeth, like, sticking out their front, and they're coming straight at you, and you have fish, right, to feed them, and it can be really intimidating.
You know what is an ugly fish? Is mahi-mahi. They have really scary, ugly teeth.
You know what? I actually really liked a mahi-mahi. I think they're so pretty with that turquoise and gold and
their bodies are beautiful.
Yellow.
But their teeth, the front part.
My boat used to be called the mahi.
I know. It's my favorite fish to eat. They are delicious.
They are, but yeah, they are a little scary looking. Dolphin fish. They're called the dolphin fish. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It has been fun.
It has been.
I hope everyone enjoys their Aloha Friday in Pau Hana. And, get a chance. Check us out at mytaisatssunset.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the places that you listen to your favorite podcasts. Check us out on Medium. We're going to have all this exclusive content on Patreon, and we're just growing and growing. And we absolutely appreciate you guys listening in. So
happy Aloha Friday. And until we meet again, ahui ho.